In the morning light, I'm chasing dreams, navigating through the office streams. Deadlines looming, emails piling high, wondering if I'm reaching for the sky or just passing by. The world outside, it's a swirling storm, chaos in the streets, a daily norm. But inside my mind, I'm seeking peace, a way to balance, a moment to seize. Careers, chaos, and coaching too. Finding the path, what else can we do? Observing closely, learning as we go. Making decisions, let our wisdom show. Through the storms and the calm, we'll find our way. With every challenge, we'll learn to say, we've got the strength, we've got the grace to face the world and find our place. Upon meetings, voices in my head, strategies and plans, where do they lead instead? I take a breath, step back to see the bigger picture, what's meant to be. Coaching sessions, a guiding light, helping me focus, setting things right. With every word, a new perspective gained. In the game of life, it's not about the pain. Careers, chaos, and coaching too. Finding the path, what else can we do? Observing closely, learning as we go. Making decisions, let our wisdom show. Through the storms and the calm, we'll find our way. With every challenge, we'll learn to say, we've got the strength, we've got the grace to face the world and find our place. Quiet moments, I find my voice. In the chaos, I make my choice to lead with kindness, to act with care, to be the change, to show I'm aware. Careers, chaos, and coaching too. Finding the path, what else can we do? Observing closely, learning as we go. Making decisions, let our wisdom show. Through the storms and the calm, we'll find our way. With every challenge, we'll learn to say, we've got the strength, we've got the grace to face the world and find our place.
Hello and good morning to everyone. Hope everyone's having a great Sunday. Welcome to Careers, Chaos, and Coaching. Today is Sunday, February 22nd, 2026. And how are you doing on this Sunday morning, Melissa Houston?
I am ready for the day. I feel good. I've had a very relaxed morning, kind of hanging out on the phone, playing video games. Guys, I actually listened to my coffee chats from yesterday for the first time ever, Felipe. Like all the way through, I actually listened to Melissa Houston be Melissa Houston. It was weird.
It's hard to do.
You ever done that?
Yeah, I started doing it like probably about 8 months ago because I realized, what's the quality of my audio? How do I sound? Am I sounding okay? And like I started questioning myself. So I'm like, let me listen to myself. And I will say I was pleasantly surprised that it sounded better than I thought. I just hate hearing my voice.
I feel the same a little bit, but I gotta give myself credit. I was not disappointed at all. I was listening going, wow, these are really great. I wonder if I should write these down because I'm going ad lib, right? Like we do in this show. And so sometimes I'll have bullet points, but sometimes I'll say something that even astounds me. Or I listen to myself, I'm like, wow, I sound so eloquent. And so I love the reflection. That's kind of where I started this morning, was a quiet space reflecting on oneself, and kind of leads into the topic today. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah, and, every once in a while we throw out a good gem. We drop a good gold nugget, and I have been saving our recordings so that we can capture those gold nuggets when they appear, whether it's us saying it or maybe one of our guests. So if I sound a little bit rough, it's because I actually just woke up about 8 minutes ago. Now,
I was sitting in the green room going, where is he? I'm sitting here waiting for my host.
now, in my defense, I woke up 5 hours ago, or actually 6 hours ago, and I was up for a while, and then I fell back asleep. So I was up very early, just out of, I don't know why I woke up so early. But anyways, I hope everyone's doing well on this Sunday. I know that there is another northeastern coming in for the Northeast, and people are supposed to get a boatload of snow. Ours, I think, is going to be mostly rain, which I'm grateful for, because I got a huge presentation tomorrow, Houston. I got to do in Virginia, and I'm looking forward to this. It's at a country club, but if I got to do training and there's a lot of snow, I hope it doesn't get canceled or postponed. So we'll see. But good morning to Stephen Eng. It's great to see you here. Leanna, wonderful to see you. William Rochelle, good morning. Aaron Gibson, thank you for being on our wonderful YouTube pages. We appreciate the support on YouTube. And then good morning, John Werner. And we also have Lisa Fevek. And I think that's everyone I got. Well, listen, this show is live. We are here for the next hour. Repost the room with your friends. Let them know that we are going on live, because today we're going to be talking about coaching under pressure, continuation of the series from last show where we talked about coaching and leadership. We want to talk about coaching under pressure. You know, we've got the Olympics, we've got football, a Super Bowl, and anyone watching the Olympics right now, got to say, the U.S. beating Canada for the gold in hockey, just like the women.
Bro, why are we not saying spoiler alerts for those of us who might have just recorded or waited all week to watch the events?
Spoiler alert.
Jerk. Also, can we say hello to our friends, but by intro? Some of these people don't know us, and so before I start calling you a jerk to your face, let's tell them why we're here.
Ahead. Introduce yourself, please.
Okay. Guys, I am Melissa Houston, cultivator of dreams, motivator of human capital, and I have the pleasure of co-hosting the show with Felipe as his LinkedIn little sister. I pick on him. I throw elbows. It's a lot of fun. But what we do is we come together to coach, and we have very comparable backgrounds, but very different ways of doing those jobs. And so coaching, leadership, team development, onboarding, consulting, we've done it all. And so we decided to do it together thanks to one Ken Dunner, who challenged us to take it off my show to our own show. And that's where we are. And so I'm excited to be here with him. You can learn more about me at documentandact.com, but go subscribe to both my YouTube and his YouTube. You never know when LinkedIn's going to start glitching. It's a great platform to grow on, but they're growing too. And so with growth comes pains, and we want to make sure you don't miss a beat. So go make sure you're subscribing to us and me, and go to Coffee Chats on Saturday. You'll see me there. You can go ring the bell. I also, Felipe, have been saving some of that content on the back end through StreamYard, and I'm going to batch upload today a ton of shorts. And so please go make sure you're subscribed. But beyond that, I'm going to send it back to you, and we'll get started on the show.
Well, thank you very much, Houston. For those of you that I have not had the pleasure of meeting yet, my name is Felipe Cofino. I'm an HR executive, a passionate LinkedIn enthusiast, as well as a LinkedIn top voice, and a published author of a international best-selling children's book. And you know, obviously doing the show with Melissa is a passion of mine, but, you know, HR has been a passion of mine for 30 years. I've been doing this. And I do offer services through Cofino Consulting that I do on the side, where I offer auditing, compliance, training, and recruitment services. Now, like I said, I am doing a training for a group of managers and leaders at a large country club in Virginia. We're doing leadership communication styles training. Now, you know that many of you who have known me for a while, we've done communication styles training here on this very show. These people here are paying for this to be officially done. So that's just a reminder of how much that we offer here to give back, the value that we try to provide you all, we charge other people for. So I just want to know that it is something that we are here to give back. I just hope people take advantage of the information that we share, and that others come up and share. Also,
and not only,
go ahead.
Can I just say, guys, because we do charge for this, there are a ton of people who can't afford services like this right now. It's just not in their budget, but they have the time today, right now. They're on LinkedIn, they're scrolling their network. Go hit them in the DMs. You know who they are. You know who popped in your head when we said this. But this is free. I know what I charge an hour. I don't even know off the top what Felipe does, but together I can tell you it's multiple hundreds an hour just to sit here and pick our brain for free. You get to pick the topics each week. You get to ask us anything in the chat. You get to come on stage and pick our brains and give us your problem. We'll help you try to solve it right here. But that only happens if you invite people in, if you show up for yourself and you do the work. So that's what we're asking for today. And thanks for joining us.
All right. And yeah, and for a group of people that are on here right now, we have 15 people. I would charge $1,500 for an hour to train you all. So that's something that I just want to stand out. Now, if you are not following me on YouTube, like Melissa said, this is where we house all the videos that we do, all the podcasts that we do here. I also have the podcast for the shows that I do with Ashley Flellen and Simona Jetty, which is the Workplace Wellness Hour and Social Saturday Chat. And one of my favorite new things that I've been doing, because again, boundaries, not doing too much. I'm doing the Future Ready Voices that I did last quarter. I'm doing one this quarter with the managing director of Hub International, which is a large financial advisor firm that is here in the Washington, D.C. area. And they help a lot with people on how to save, spend, and prepare for retirement, especially with future work changing. So if that interests you, that'll be next Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern. But YouTube channel is where I house all the videos when we do show them. Like Melissa said, we want to have a second place where it's easy to find the stuff that we've done. And I will say thank you to the support, because I have reached over 100 subscribers. So I'm very happy about that. I will shut up about that now, because I know I've mentioned that in the last couple of shows. I wanted to hit 100, but thank you for those who have supported me. I really appreciate that.
Felipe, one, I'm a subscriber. I love the Workplace Wellness Hour. And guys, it's not just something I say to support Felipe. I literally would tell him the opposite if it was true. But it's not. I love Simona. I love Ashley. I love how they banter with Felipe and go back and forth in their own way. And they bring data and they bring art. And I love both of those things. So it's kind of like my favorite place to be when I'm not hosting a show. And that's not a pitch. That's just reality. That's my truth. Also, Felipe, I'm only at like 44. So now it's my turn to hit 100. So I'm going to ask all your
All right.
Yes.
Let's get Houston up to 100. All right.
Well, you know what's funny, guys? As a leader, let's dive into this topic. But can I just own the fact that as a leader, I would do great work getting everybody in line, getting them on the wall, ready for recess to get their own YouTube setup. I never did it. Right? It's like doctors who don't get a checkup. It's mechanics who don't do their maintenance. It's all of that stuff. And I think that's part of the problem we're facing as leaders, is how to balance it all and where to like fit it in. And I know that's what we coach and consult on a lot. Felipe is like other leaders going, I don't know how to do this part because I haven't had time to learn. This is now me asking you to teach us. And YouTube was a slow grow for me. I've been doing coffee chats for 3 years. We've been doing this for 2 now. And we're just now getting started. Oh, third. Okay. So I'm on my 4th year. I know I've like 1 year ahead on coffee chats. So, yeah. So guys, for years we've been doing this and we just didn't take it off platform. And for a while, I loved that about my coffee chats. It was private. It was unique and nobody was talking about it after it was gone unless you were in the room. It was like Fight Club. It was great. But now that we're taking this intention and we have to live stream and we have to be on video, it's just really cool to diversify and grow in spite of, right? What if LinkedIn does decide this is not a branch of Microsoft we want to do anymore, and they just shut it down? What would happen? And so, Felipe, I'm excited that you've been back building. You have a lead over there, and I'm going to chase you with like fun competition, like a little sister should.
Oh my God, my annoying little sister!
Here I come. Here I come.
Go play with your friends. Leave me and my friends alone.
We're the same freaking friends, bro. We were in the same class before we came to the playground. Knock it off. Anyway, guys, we're so glad you're here for real.
My friends are cooler than your friends. I don't want you.
I'm going to let you say that to my friend's face. I bet you won't. I bet you won't come to my bike shop and tell them you're cooler than the people on their Harleys. I dare you.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
listen,
we have really cool friends, guys. We
we
really
do.
do.
And thank you to everyone who's joined us here. We have King Property Dealer International Real Estate who's joined us. Jay's joined us here. We have Muhammad who's watching us on YouTube. Leslie Flowers has joined us. Sumana Jetty, she gave you a nice, she really appreciated what you said. She gave you a nice little heart there. And thank you, John Warner, on the congratulations. I thought it was funny that David Pushkin says, "Hi, Felipe and Melissa. I enjoy your voices." I think that's the first person that said that to us. So thank you very much,
I
David.
never tell Felipe I enjoy his voice. You're so kind. No, honestly, David, I have to say that is an honor because I know you're openly, actively listening with both ears all the time. And I don't always like my voice. I know, Felipe, you've talked about not liking yours, and I think that's good. We shouldn't like the sound of our own voice too much, but we shouldn't dislike ourselves either. So it's
But
nice to
I
have the
love
feedback.
David's voice. David has like
He
this
has the
radio
best voice. I don't
Oh,
want to say that. Okay, I got to take that back. I know some voice actors. He has one of the best voices. Let me
Yeah.
rephrase.
He has a very rich, deep voice that just sounds so soothing that you want him to record like an audiobook on. So thank you, Sumana, for all your support. As always, William Rochelle, great to see you here as well. And we do have some. Oh, John Warner has to leave, but we appreciate you being here. There was a question here from John, though. How does a company foster culture? Let me put it up here. How does a company foster culture of safe risk-taking and innovation when the company is focused on cost cutting? And that's actually something that we're going to talk about because that is a great question. And I think that with that, let's go ahead and start talking about this topic here, Melissa.
Also, let me just do a quick correction. John can't make my Saturday shows because of another commitment. He is here.
Oh,
and he
I'm
is
sorry.
staying
I've been too
according
fast.
to the message. Yeah, it's okay. We're good.
All right. Thank you for catching that. All right. So with that, let's go ahead and go to Felipe's 5 real quick. These are going to be very short things here, but really, when you're dealing with talent, when there's cutting costs, when there are layoffs happening, when it's just busy and you're growing, maybe, talent development takes a back seat a lot of times. So some of the things that I've seen work really well that we wanted to share here, and Melissa has seen work as well, is the first one is you got to compete with clarity, not fear. When you compete with fear, you're probably usually reacting. You're not being strategic, and you're almost panicking and making bad decisions. But when you compete with clarity, even when it's like, okay, things are falling from the sky right now, what are we going to do? That clarity gives the team confidence. That clarity gives the team something to focus on and the direction to go to. And that's what you want when there is chaos, when there is cutting costs, when there is layoffs, or when there is so much growth that things seem to be happening too fast. And so that clarity is such a huge thing because fear will spread fast, you all. Fear will spread faster than a wildfire in, God knows where. And strong leaders will replace rumors with directions and facts. And that will help people perform better. So, Houston, what are your thoughts?
Oh, yeah, I love this because obviously clarity is the first step for me. But also I always imagine that diving board at the swimming pool. As a kid growing up in Arizona, it's the first place I go when I think about my first fear that really could shake my knees kind of fear. And it was getting on the top diving board and just trying to stand there. And what I realized as I grew up is the amygdala in the brain, it's controlling that. And it's also controlling excitement. And so you just have to decide which energy it's going to funnel. I mean, it's really like mapping it out for yourself. You either face it and jump into it. The Olympic Games, I mean, it's scary to do some of the stuff that they're doing. When I see the mountains and the things they're skiing down and the jumps they're doing, that's knee shaking for a girl who's afraid of heights. But being able to face the fear, doing it small steps, right? They didn't start on that hill. They started smaller. And as they accomplished it, it told the brain this is okay. And so I'm getting clear on where you are comfortable beginning. That's the first step for me. Sometimes it's hard to say I'm going to clean the whole house, but it's easy to say I'm going to take out the trash. And then after that's done, you do the next thing and the next thing. And so I think just being clear on the steps helps you break down the fear into bite-sized pieces.
That was so well said. And the amygdala part of the brain that she mentioned there, I want to stress that that's the part of the brain that you either freeze, fight, or flee. Okay, it takes over. You have no control. Your brain's going to go into that mode, and that is your mind protecting yourself. So whether you freeze, flee, or fight, it's going to need that clarity of what to do. And you know when that clarity works? When all of us are given that clarity. For example, think about it. We were all trained when we were young. Fire drill, fire alarm goes off. What do? Get in line, go to the nearest exit, walk outside, and go to the meeting point. That clarity is so crucial, because if they didn't and they heard fire alarm and heard a fire and kids just started running all over the place, it'd be utter chaos. So you see why it's so important and why people have been doing it for decades, centuries. All right, number 2, we have acknowledge the weight. This is so important. Don't make people feel and dismiss the pressure they're feeling. You can't coach performance without acknowledging the emotion. Look, emotions are real. They're part of our human body. They are not going to go away when we clock into work. So you have to acknowledge it. And it won't improve when people are grieving or worrying. You're paying them to worry. You're literally paying them to worry versus help you get through the difficult parts. So you don't want them to question stability. You want them to be focused on the fact that, yes, this is a lot going on. It's overwhelming. We'll get through it together. If you have questions or need a break, let me know. But this is something that is not going to last forever. I know I'm asking a lot from you all, but as a team, I believe we can get through this. That's the kind of messaging that a leader needs to give, because otherwise they're like, I don't have time for you. We have too much going on. Go back to work. We're too busy. Just get the work done and figure it out. That's not acknowledging the weight. That's just dismissing it. Houston, what are your thoughts?
I think about a time where, when I was running a staffing firm, one of the branches of one, it was the startup location, right? We got the state fair contract, and it had moved from the state capital to the middle of the state in this small town, 50,000 people, to make it more like center location, which is great. But in a town of 50,000 people, to have 200 temporary employees for 2 weeks is almost impossible. Neighboring towns 50 miles away, one direction. You're talking about travel, and the pay wasn't great. And so that was the weight of the moment that immediately popped into my head when I was thinking about a time where we had to rally the team. We had maybe 6 people. I don't remember the exact staff were at the time, but maybe 6 people to work on this. 6 into 200 is divided pretty heavy. You have to pull your part. You have to find those people, and you have to sell them on a job that lasts 2 weeks. So get them off unemployment to get them right back on. Tell them we're going to more likely place them after the fact, but preparing them for the battle. Can you imagine today what it would sound like if I tried to call you, any of you, and ask you to leave your current life for 2 weeks, an uphill battle of working a state fair on your feet, 12 hours a day in the sun for low wages, and then we're going to lay you off with 199 other people. Good luck in the market in 2 weeks. Because as Melissa Houston, I would have said, nope, I'm going to be applying for every job everybody else isn't. I'm going to use that 2 weeks of 200 people being out of my way to clear my path and go get the job I really want. There's no way I would have opted in. And so just telling people these are the struggles we'll fight. These are the things they're going to tell you no to and why. And then acknowledging how hard it is, but knowing that there's a way. Where there is a will, there's a way. Where you really need a solution, you will find one. And we did it. We did it on the dot. And so rallying the team, preparing them for battle, telling them, hey, the zombies are going to be at the window and the door. Make sure you're preparing for both. It's just wise, right? If you acknowledge the weight of the moment, you can really get through anything. A military mindset is what comes to mind when I think of that. And so those moments get really heavy, and somehow those humans figure out a way to get through together. And so just acknowledge it as a team, face it as a team, and then come what may kind of thing. Hopefully we have less losses than the military have to face, but still the same kind of mindset, right? Still the same kind of recovery of the flight, fight, freeze that the humans endure either way. So back to you.
Well, thank you. And great points. Welcome to a few people who joined us here. Joe Cullen, Sean Michael, great to see you there. And Prachi, thank you for coming as well. All right, so our next one here, number 3, is redefine winning in hard seasons. Okay, what you used to consider a win in the past may not be a win today. A small win is worth celebrating. So when you're redefining wins, sometimes it isn't always about the growth. It's about stability. It's about retaining the clients. It's about protecting the culture. It's about resetting the goals. You have to redefine what a win is, because if they still think, oh, well, we have to get this, the major clients, we can't go after the small clients. No, sometimes when economic changes and seasons change, you got to redefine what you're going after. And sometimes those small wins are what get you through the difficult times. But you have to acknowledge that it's a win and celebrate it as much as the big wins, because that's going to help people feel accomplished, feel like they're contributing and adding value to the company during this difficult time. And that's what you want to instill in them. Because a leader who is focused on their employees worrying and scattered is a leader who's not focusing on the problem. So you now have an entire organization trying to figure out emotions when you could have really addressed them with a simple conversation. Houston?
Oh, I want to keep this short because I went long last time. But I think if you know you're losing this battle, this season, this whatever, the snow's too high for you to go outside and plant the garden, you can still go inside and get the seeds started. There's ways to keep growing, right? You can still invest in the weak spots that lost you the contract last time. Maybe your, business just wasn't ready, but they gave you the reason. So now you know how to fix it for next time. I think you really have to not lose by not giving up. That's when you lose. If you're still moving forward, you're not losing, you're preparing, you're in preparation, growth, whatever mode, but do the workouts even if you lose the game, right? You're not going to win the next game if you stop doing the repetitions. It's just a mindset thing. Go ahead, Felipe, sorry.
No, that was awesome. I love that. And the mindset is so important, you all. I mean, look, during COVID, you saw the leaders who rose to the occasion, who helped people, and you saw leaders whose employees were leaving them like, crazy because of the chaos and lack of clarity and lack of leadership. All right, number 4 is develop versatility, not just volume. And what I mean by that is you gotta adapt and in leaner times, and you can't cut some of the things that you need. And what I mean by that is, and I've seen this for 30 years, you all, the number one thing that almost always gets cut when things get lean and we're cutting costs is training and development. That's one of the things that you probably need the most when things are changing. When you've cut people and you've lost talent and you've lost skills because you had to lay off people, you now are saying, okay, well, we need to do this. And someone's like, I don't know how to do that. The person who did that before is gone. That means that, okay, hey, let's help people develop these skills. You can't bring back the person you laid off. Someone's got to take it on. That's why learning development and training and cross-training is so crucial to this whole process. Build multi-skilled contributors who can pivot quickly during this chaos, because when you have that, you can have a lean team that's agile and can jump into different jobs that they couldn't before. Now, again, that's going to add stress. They could burn out if you don't give them the hope that, hey, this is just for the next couple months until we can get through this period, and then we'll be able to hire back, or whatever the case may be. But it is something that giving them those skills gives them confidence. And when they get through it, they're going to feel a lot stronger, rewarded, and more accomplished and skilled to do more in the future. So don't cut the training and the skill development when things get tough, because that's what's going to help you. Houston?
Oh my gosh. This one got me fired up. Sales. I'm calling you out. Hashtag sales. Calling you out. You are the number one problem in my brain right now. I'm not saying in general, but in my brain, this is the first thing they do. Turn the salespeople. We didn't hit quota. Turn the salespeople. Fire them all. Get new salespeople. And it's always a development problem. It's always, we didn't teach them the product enough. We didn't give them the time to do what they needed. We didn't give them the budget to get to their clients. We didn't give them the support to just be able to email the contracts to somebody and let them do the back end stuff so they could go right back into sales mode. We're not giving them protected time. And it gets me so mad because every time they turn back and look at the salespeople, and every time I'm like, leave them alone. So guys, if you're having a problem with salespeople, I want to ask you to lean into leadership and development, turn in that training dollars, invest in it, because that's where you're going to get it. The onboarding, the revenue. I mean, how much time and money do we spend as an organization, Felipe, doing recruiting? I don't care, any organization. It's a huge percentage of the budget for retention and recruitment. And that turnover, isn't it like 30% of the income or something is the average cost?
Oh no, they've changed that stat actually.
Okay, what is it? Because I'm out of the loop. I really am.
This is not for entry level roles. This is for skilled roles that are, the next level past entry level up to executive. It costs roughly 150% of the salary to replace someone in turnover. They've taken all the cost factors in consideration, everything from overtime to the productivity, to all the training, all the recruitment, all the advertising and marketing. So if someone pays, you hire someone for $100,000, you probably spent $150,000 to get them hired, trained, up to speed, and working at the level you want them to.
And here's where I'm going to do a plug without meaning to, but Felipe dropped it. If you have 10 employees, he's going to charge $1,500, or what was it? Would you say $1,500 for that? Or 15 employees is
15 employees, it'd be $1,500.
So $100 a head. Let me just say it, right? You do business development with him. It's so much more cost effective to have 10 salespeople at $100,000 sitting in front of Felipe than to fire them. Just maths well. And that's what we're screaming from the benches as coaches. Stop letting your team go. Get the team developed, get them working together, get the quarterback to actually talk to their defense line and the receiving people, and get them to be able to understand those little hand signals that nobody else gets between each other and know where they're going to run. Because once you get in sync, once you've invested that time, it changes. And that's true for all relationships, all approaches, all of your own internal leadership development. You have to quit giving excuses, quit saying, oh, it was the coach's fault. Oh, it was the employer's fault. Oh, it was my husband, my kid, my time, my journal, my trash day. I don't care. I don't. Because the reality is, as a coach, I don't care what the problem was on the field. We signed up to fight that problem together. That's the job. And so when you get into it, be honest about the problem. And most of the time it's blaming the human and not the business. And if they can turn that cup, Felipe, it changes things, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It makes a world of difference. And, that's where I think people don't always realize that a small effort can go a long way. And that's where, look, one of the things that I have realized is that with salespeople, with anyone, when you train them on a skill, I had a team that was questioning the value of the communications and marketing team. They just weren't effective in getting stuff out, and they wanted to find people that had the skills. I said, hold on, what's one of the issues you have? Well, we aren't getting the visibility on social media the way we should. I said, give me a day with them. And so I spent a couple hours with them training. I gave them some projects. I explained some things that I had learned, and all of a sudden, they started producing what the CEO wanted. The CEO was like, all right, well, thank you for that. I go, hold on. Don't just dismiss it so quickly. You were getting ready to get rid of 4 people because they didn't have the skill. Instead of teaching them the skill that they need, and now instead of hiring one person that has a skill, you have 4 people who have that skill. So you have a stronger, more valuable team than you would have if you had replaced them. And that's what I want you to realize. Do the training, invest in it. It's going to cost you less than replacing people, like Houston said. All right. Last one is coach confidence, not just output. And this is such a huge thing here. You're the leader. You're expected to support your team. If your team fails, guess what? As a leader, you failed. I'm just calling it out as it is. That's what other leaders see. Your team failed. You're responsible for that team. You also failed. So when layoffs are happening or confidence drops or things go awry, remind people that they're still here. One of the things that upsets me is I've done, unfortunately, way too many layoffs in my career. When we do the layoffs, everyone is so focused on the people being laid off because they're worried about them. They're concerned about them. They don't have a job, rightfully so, as they should be. But you know what they forget about? The people who stayed behind. They think, oh, they're safe, they're fine, they're happy, they're lucky. They're lucky to have a job, but guess what? Their workload probably just doubled. Their stress level probably just doubled. Their expectations probably just doubled because they're now doing the work of the people that left. And when you are doing that to somebody, you're going to burn them out. That's why you need to give them confidence saying, listen, you're still here because you're valuable. We need you. We're here. We're going to help develop your strengths. We're going to get through this together. This is just a short period of survival to get through. And I, promise you that we will have relief soon. But this is something that the confidence that they can do it when they think, oh, well, we don't have people to do it. I can't do this. Yes, you can. I believe in you. You can learn it and we'll be patient. You need to provide that confidence to people so they can see that they have the ability to learn it and move forward. If you don't instill that confidence, they're gonna struggle and they're going to be just crawling and trying to figure it out versus running and confidently trying to figure it out. Houston, what are your thoughts?
I love Sumana's question, actually. And I want to send it back to you when it's done, but that's where I'm going to come in is how can leaders coach confidence if they don't know how to coach? Not everyone can coach or influence. And I think I'm going to push back on my friend Sumana a little bit. I think we're all influencers, whether we like it or not. I have people watching me, whether I give them permission or not. When I'm in my workplace, I don't realize how many people have their eyes on me. And I actually have been told by family, my own daughter who's 17, to mom, do you not see how many people look at you because you're pretty or whatever, right? And that was the premise of the conversation, not the point. But I had no idea when I go to the grocery store, I have people stop and look at me and smile and like try to make eye contact. I'm worried about the oranges. Then I'm worried about looking at the grocery list. And then I'm worried about going to aisle 5. And I think the fact that I just need to know people are always keeping an eye on, even when we don't want them to, right? There's no privacy once you're kind of famous, and that's different levels of fame for different people. But it's really hard for like a Brad Pitt to go have a cup of coffee because everybody's watching. Everybody's got to take a picture. Everybody's got to have a comment. And so how you just hold yourself at all times is how you lead. The way I lead in a motorcycle shop where I had no confidence whatsoever was to explain how much I understand fun and passion, how much I understand their passion about a product, even though I don't have to have the same passion, I can get excited about somebody else's passion. And then telling people, when I was your age, I had no idea what I was doing, but this is what I did to grow. And being able to tell people that small detail. I was a salesperson door to door first. That's the first way I started. And so being able to grow a career from sales, I can tell somebody who has no skills at, 15 years old, you can go and be a salesperson, even in fast food, upsell those French fries, have the stats on the upsell, and you're going to be able to step into a sales career that eventually pays you 6 figures. And then, we can have those, have those conversations just by having the conversation. Being willing to communicate in a way others don't is leadership in and of itself too. And so I think it's also a mindset. How do you want to lead? You decide. You can lead by just being silent and crocheting on YouTube with your fingers doing the talking. You're still leading the way for others to replicate that behavior. And so I think figure out what it is for you and then replicate that and do it consistently and do it with intention and just like a kindness, and I think people will follow. Felipe?
Love that. Awesome and well said. I just put a link in the chat for you all to join us. Suana, your question is such a valid question. I do agree with, well, first of all, the question that she asked, so everyone knows, is how can leaders coach confidence if they don't know how to coach? Not everyone, let me put up, not everyone can coach or influence. Now, the influence part, I agree with Melissa. People who do nothing influence others to do nothing. People who are doing things the wrong way influence people. Oh, that's a shortcut. I didn't know I could do it that way. Let me do it that way. So I think influence does apply to everyone. However, coaching is a skill that you have to learn. It's not a natural skill that people always have. And I guess the points that I would say are this. As a coach, you got to encourage people to make mistakes. And I know that sounds weird, but have you ever had someone say, hey, go just play with the system. Don't worry about breaking it. Just figure out what works, what doesn't work. I just want you to see if this is a good system for us. So don't worry about breaking it. Just play with it. When we are going through things, people are going to make mistakes. I tell people, you're going to make a mistake. I guarantee it. That's going to happen. You're human. What I want you to do is learn from the mistake and teach others what you learned so they don't repeat the mistake. That's what we need. We need that ability. Now, I will say this, and I will say this bluntly and harshly. Leadership is not just a title. It is a responsibility. If you do not want the responsibility of being a leader, then get off the boat and don't be a leader. Because it is something that people think, oh, I have the title now. I can do whatever I want. Buddy, guess what? You've got a lot more responsibility than telling people what to do. You've got to figure out problems. You got to manage people. You got to manage problems. You got to figure out solutions. And people are going to come to you to figure that out. And you cannot get upset about it because you decided to be in this role. If you don't like it, get out.
And that's fire. Hold on. Pause. Wait a minute. Why are you sounding like the feisty one today?
Because
you just get fired up, Felipe. Hold on. I have a question here. And it actually ties back to a follow-up Sumana has, right? Why are we expecting leaders to coach without training them how? And honestly, we shouldn't. But what I'm hearing from Felipe kind of overlaps with what I was thinking my answer would be with Sumana. So I want to just say it. It's leaders ask for more training. If you are aware of the problem, and I covered this actually yesterday, if you are the only one in the room saying we should be talking about X, and you're in the meeting and everybody's on Y, and you know we should be talking about X, it is your responsibility as the only person in the room who's paid to be there, having that idea, to speak up with that idea. To say, I want to be good at my job, Mr. Man who's coming in to tell me I'm not hitting my KPIs, but you need to give me more development time. You need to give me resources to allow me to teach these guys. You need to just give me time to put them on YouTube. Give me an hour a week to do training my way for free. My free resources on LinkedIn. Sumana threw out there about being at the library, right? Go get a library card as a business owner and make your employees use that as the resource. But have a resource. And leaders should be resourceful. So if you're not getting the solution, what I tell my team, you're welcome to bring me any problem. If you really want to impress me, also bring a solution. If you say we are out of water for our community event, I'm going to run to the grocery store and grab some, should be the next natural response. And then I can say, great, thank you for your leadership in that moment. Otherwise, you're looking to me for a solution you may already have. If you have one, let me know. And open that communication up. And then also ask your boss on the onboarding during the next meeting, during your review, during morning coffee at the water cooler for the same kind of open communication. And I think you'll go far.
I love that. And yeah, I am fired up. But I will say this also. The leaders who sit there and think they know it all are also the ones that don't want the training. I don't have time for training. I am too busy. My job is too important. You know what? If you're a leader who doesn't have time for training, you're a leader who is going to become obsolete. I promise you that. I've watched it happen time and time again. Those leaders that think that they don't need to attend training, that their work is more important, guess what? This training I'm doing tomorrow for these 26 leaders, the CEO who asked me to do it, he's like, it just goes, well, I want to do more training. I said, great. Do you want to speak at the beginning of the training class, just to encourage them and set the expectations? He goes, absolutely, but I'll be in the training class too. I said, I'm glad to hear that. And that's a true leader, a leader who says, my team needs to be trained on this because they don't know how to do it, and think that they don't need the training either. So a leader is going to see the value of that and provide it and offer it, but they're also going to want to take the training. A true leader wants to continue to grow and be that forever learner. So I'm going to end on this note here that says, if layoff seasons are in layoff seasons, you're not just coaching for results, you're coaching for resilience. And I want people to take that away. Don't coach just to survive, coach to be resilient and sustain and get through to the other end. And you don't want them to burn out and leave you at the end of that. You want them to feel good and be those ambassadors for you about what a great company is to work for because of how you manage through that difficult time. So with that being said, Houston, I did put the link in the comment for you all to join us on stage. We would love for you all to come up here and be with us. And, this is a topic that is definitely hard for a lot of people to talk about sometimes because they're talking about their workplace. But if you are a leader or if you know a leader, this is information that they will find very valuable if they want to grow. But Houston, what other thoughts do you have about this or suggestions or questions for our audience in the chat?
Well, I really just love this topic. I hope you guys did too, because coming back with another leadership conversation, we didn't know if we were overdoing it or not. But I think it's been valuable. And I think as an employer, one of the leadership qualities I like to keep in my pocket and I want to share is always asking my employees what they're going to do when they fire me. Like, what comes next? And I don't want a 5-year plan. That's not really how Melissa works in general. But who do you want to be when you grow up is a question I love to know, because if one day I've had people tell me they wanted to be a marine biologist as they're standing in a motorcycle shop and we're salespeople. And I'm okay, that's an interesting Venn diagram, right, Felipe? But there are leadership skills that can be trained within the organization. I can teach them how to do communication with a customer. I can teach them how to present their business. I can teach them merchandising skills in case there's keychains and hats on the way out from their visit at the aquarium. They could be the manager of the aquarium plus be the marine biologist who takes care of the fish. There's so many ways that they could have that mindset. And then I ask them, what do you want to learn? What can I give you while you're here? Because I have some things you need to learn. But how do your goals and my goals for this business Venn diagram? And I think having that conversation and then also giving them that solution-based mindset of bring me a problem. If you have a solution, bring that too. You can grow your team by using those free resources. Go to YouTube, Careers, Chaos, and Coaching being on there. All of our friends do things. LinkedIn does its own thing. Microsoft has its own thing. You can go learn so much just from there. But then once you've seen the ROI of that, you can take those results and say, I would like a budget to invest now. I've done it for free. Can we bring somebody in on these things that we grew, but we could do better at, that were bringing us revenue? Now that we've done the free stuff, we have data that we can take to you and say, hey, this is how we're bringing results. Can we invest some more to bring more results? Or can we not use the free services where it's not working and we need to actually pay somebody to come in because this is above the free level? And I think just assessing as we grow is important, Felipe, but being resourceful as a leader is important, and it can be free. It doesn't have to be invested in, but the time is an investment too.
Absolutely. And that's where people have to realize that if you invest that time, it's going to pay off tenfold. Sumana had a very great question here. I'm going to try to see if it shows up here. It's a long question. Okay. When people get hired, they have no idea what kind of leader they're walking into, which is very true. Will it be someone who coaches with clarity and confidence, or someone who manages purely for output? We rigorously assess employees during their 90-day probation, but what the rest of it says, hold on, let me read it here. But where's the structured evaluation of leaders? If probation goes both ways, shouldn't new hires have a formal mechanism to assess leadership quality too? And that is a great question. And that's something that I will say I do. I wish everyone did this. I learned this when I was in hospitality. It was the inspect what you expect. So I had a hard time getting leaders to do the 45 and 90-day probationary evaluations that were just really quick assessments saying, hey, checking in on your first 45 days. How you doing? All right, great. This is what you're doing well. These are some areas I want you to keep on learning. There's some opportunity for you to learn here. At the 90-day mark, there should be no surprises, ideally, but if there are, it can be addressed there. What I would do is after those 2 meetings, I would call the employee into my office and saying, hey, how did your first 45 days go? How did your review go? What did you feel about the feedback? What did you like? What didn't you like? What do you need? And that really does tell me how well did that manager or leader communicate to them? Did they provide them confidence? Did they provide them tools? Did they offer training? Or were they just saying, go talk to these people and figure it out? And what that did is it gave me information to build training for those leaders saying, hey, you know what? I think I need to do some better onboarding training for leadership here because I'm seeing a gap there. And a leader, when they notice a gap, they try to figure out if there's a solution to fix that gap. They don't just say, point out the problem. And that's the thing I will end here on this note is leaders who point out problems all the time and never offer solutions, again, get off the boat, leave, go home. I don't want to hear you anymore because we are encouraging new hires, people out of college to, hey, if you have a problem, come up with some solutions. I'd love to hear your ideas. We welcome your ideas. We think that you have valuable insight, so we want to hear it. If a leader can't understand that when they're in that role, what did you miss? Did you fall asleep in class? Because clearly you are not doing your role right, and you need to step it up. Realize it is your responsibility to inspect what you inspect. It's your responsibility to make sure people have what they need. And if you can't do it, then go do a job where you can work by yourself and you don't need to manage people. Houston, sorry.
This is fired up Felipe. He woke up on the wrong side of the couch from his nap or something. But I do think Sumana's question, if the problem goes both ways, shouldn't there be something formal? And I think there should. And in a good organization, they want that feedback just as much, especially at the cost of onboarding these days. If we're failing in some way, shouldn't we know? There's always room for improvement. Something even as simple as making sure their tools show up on time, the laptop, the router, the uniform, right? But if they're not offering it, create one.
Now, there is one thing that I forgot to mention is that during performance reviews, I do ask for them to self-evaluate and evaluate their supervisor. And so I ask for a 360 evaluation. So they evaluate the employees evaluate the supervisors, and they also evaluate themselves. And so that also, but I only do that twice a year.
Okay. So I will say this, though, they should create their own. And I think we should do this as a topic, Felipe, just like what kind of assessment is this? What does it look like from the employer side? And maybe you take that because you've done this, and then I'll take it from the employee side. What should the employee be asking questions about? What should they be tracking? What kind of things are we looking at in the first 90 days that give us value or take away from the value of the role? I think it would be a great topic for Sumana. And then
well, wait, did you say the employees should create their own evaluation?
I did. That's what I was trying to say in response.
Hold on. That might not go over well. Hey,
I don't care. That we can argue that another show. Hold on, pause. Put a pin in that for me, because I just want to say I love the idea, but Sumana's very specific question was, should there be one? And the answer is yes. If I work for an organization that Felipe has created one, cool. But I'm talking about the ones that don't. If they don't, I'm still going to tell you to what? Document, then act. When they sit you down at 90 days, you better have your documentation ready. And then if you're really wanting this to be something that's of value, you need to have it outlined in a way that they can see the value, so maybe they can replicate it in the future. Otherwise, you're just having the conversation and it's cool. But I think it's something that in our organization, even as a retail store, we sell motorcycle gear. it would be easy for people to assume it's not a very organized or very structured environment. That's the last thing that comes to mind when I think about who I work for. They're one of the best structured corporations I've worked with. And it's because they have an open air policy. There's a place called the garage that we get into, and we can talk to anybody at any time. I have the cell phone number of the CEO, but they constantly ask for feedback. They do multiple surveys a year. They have a tell us how you feel right now in this moment thread. And then they do check-ins at the store level, and then they do it at the district level, and then they do it at the corporate level where they do feedback without permission from the manager filtering. And I love all of those touches. But we have to create our own if they don't have one, and we have to show them the way as leaders in our own life.
Okay, I agree with you, and I think there's so much to unpack here. I just had a little epiphany. I would like to do a LinkedIn special. You know those specials that you had like once a year on growing up on TV, where they have just a special show that we're doing, just it's a one-time thing, a one-off. I would like to do a special show with Melissa Houston, Sumana Jetty, and myself to talk about this topic, if Sumana and Melissa would be open to it.
I would love to have Sumana come and pick on you with me. Is it going to be CCC style, or is it going to be workplace wellness style? Because if it's here, you got another sister coming to sit next to me at the table.
It's going to be the Sisters Mother show. I don't know. We'll figure out, but it's going to be a separate. We're going to take it separate from Careers Casting Coaching and Workplace Wellness Hour, and it'll be its own little one-stop shop here that we're going to talk about this topic here, because sometimes our worlds collide, and I think once in a while we should do a little topic where our worlds collide.
It would be my honor. I love what Sumana does. She does data, and I love data. That's Venn diagram, and it sorts data, but she does it different, and I love that. And yeah, let's.
All right. Well, Sumana,
if she's in, I'm in.
Oh yes, Sumana says, "Oh hey."
Hey. Yeah. She said, "Oh hey." I don't know if that's because she wants to sit on my side of the picnic table or your side. I don't know. We gotta wait. There's a little bit of a delay.
She'll sit on the side of data, is what she'll.
And do. I also have to answer an earlier question by our friend Ken Dunner, who says, "Do you like being called Houston?" And actually, yes, very much so. I love my last name. It's one of my favorites. Houston, we have a problem is something that floated through my house quite a bit with 4 children, all having the last name going on there, and yeah, so. Yes, I love it. I love it a lot. It plays very well in branding.
Well, Sumana says she's here for it. We will we'll figure out a date, and she will bring the science and the data, and it will be a very, very interesting discussion, because she's bringing up such great points. Melissa and I are a little bit of different opinions on certain things, but same on others. It's going to be.
Okay, Sumana, are you available March 8th? Is that the day we can do it? Because that would be fine for me. That's the next show. Do we just take the topic she suggested and kind of just bring her in on it?
Let's figure it out offline. This will take too long to figure out like this.
Okay. So. Well, I just say if she says yes, that's quick and you're outvoted. But guys, we appreciate you.
You know what? We're going to have consensus here. You are not going to pick on me this early. It just started, and I just came.
That's how percentages work, Mr. Bankerman. If there's 2/3 of a vote, you're outvoted. It's 60% or something like that. So we're fine. We're fine. We'll ask Sumana for the data.
Don't forget that.
No, guys, I love the playful banter. I hope it was a little bit uplifting after the heaviness of leadership's heavy. The stuff that comes, the just thoughts, those moments where I had to tap into mentally to just remember the staffing of a state fair of that magnitude in a small town, and the chaos of all the things that we have to live through in those moments, telling our boss how they're doing it wrong and still trying to keep your job while you're hoping that they're telling you the things you're doing wrong or something they want to work on too, right? So you got to work what works for you, but I think if nothing else, find your solution and take that with you is the takeaway for me today. I know I give it to other people as a takeaway, but I think that's what I want you guys to write down is if you have a problem with your employer, if you have a problem with a situation, how would it be resolved? If you don't know the answer, you can say, I'm not sure when you bring the solution or try to, come to address the problem, but it's much more efficient to come in with some idea. Even if it's, I need more budget, I need more training, I'm not sure, I need your input, but these are the things that I don't feel I'm strong in, that I wish I could be. If you can identify your weak spots and tell them what would help you feel stronger so you could be better, that might be the solution. But you got to have something to give a leader meat on the bone, because we don't always have the answers either. We can't solve for X for you. We can give you some alphabet soup, but you have to know what's going to fix it for you. And so I think the accountability, but then also documentation and action. Okay, Felipe.
Absolutely. And Sean Michael, the topic is really about leadership's role with new hires and providing feedback, two-way feedback for the leader as well as the new hire during probationary periods, during review periods, and how well is the employee's voices being heard, and how much feedback are they providing about leadership. So it's going to be a very interesting topic. It'll be titled much better than what I just said, and much shorter. But I'm looking forward to this. Yes, Meryl, it's going to be like a network TV special. There's ABC specials. Special tonight. This Sunday is this one-time whatever it was. I don't know. I'm thinking about the Disney shows they had every Saturday or every Sunday night.
ABC specials, they were my favorite. That's when Tate would fly over the castle.
And it's not going to be an after-school special, you all. So
no, honestly, I really
not PG.
It is PG because
Right,
I want to
G.
respect the professional topic and what we're really going to bring. But truth is, it's going to be more playful than probably some of the other conversations you've had about this topic. That's for sure. It's careers, chaos, and coaching. That's what we do here. But I can't wait to ask Simona her favorite cereal. I don't even know. Like, there's going to be a little bit of that. So it might be Saturday morning feel, like Sunday morning cartoons and friendship.
We may have to also figure out what Sesame Street character Simona is. I have thoughts. But the topic will still be serious, and we will come out with some good takeaways. And I think we will encourage you all to join us for discussion, because it's going to be debate, y'all. It's not going to be, we all agree 100%. There's going to be some debating here. So look forward to that coming.
He's always prepping for battle. Look at this HR guy. We're going to fight that. We're going to fight. We're going to. Felipe, take a nap. You need more nap.
I'm energized. I'm ready to go now. I'm going out for a walk with the dog. I'm ready to clean out the shed. I got energy, y'all.
Honestly, guys, how are you feeling? Did this show give you some good energy? Are you feeling confident? Are you feeling like you might write some stuff down to talk to your boss about, or your friends or your family, or whatever it is, whatever you're going through? I am feeling energized. I'm going to water a gazillion houseplants. They all started from that one Omar asked me to babysit, and I think I'm over 250 now. I whisper so they don't get excited and grow some more.
I'm going to send Omar a note, a sympathy note for the death of his plants.
Oh, no, he actually texted me yesterday and said, can you send me a picture of the plants? I think he's bragging to people about what he's done to me. Like, it's not fair. But no,
wait, is he taking care of your plants, or you're taking care of his?
I'm taking care of his. I have one small 5-inch pot. And I do. But now
when the goldfish dies and they replace the goldfish with one that looks alike, that's what she's going to do with the plants.
I actually told him I'm going to give him all of them when he shows up, and he's scared to come collect now. I told him they're all his grandbabies, and he has to take them all home, and he's scared. But truthfully, guys, I'm going to go get energized. I'm going to go tidy up my house. Spring feels like it's here. I know some people are getting snow. I'm sorry. But I'm going to clean my house and do some spring cleaning today, and do some mass uploading on YouTube.
There you go. And I got to tell you all, when Melissa said share this with your leaders, I got to tell you, we've had people from this show, as well as the Workplace Wellness Hour, they've shared what we talk about with their leadership. And there have been 3 occasions where the leaders have reached out to us, to talk to us about these things. So if you want to inspire change, sometimes you just got to try to reach out and talk about it. All right. So with that being said, Houston, I think this is the first show that we've had that nobody came up on stage, which I think just meant people were listening. And
that's because you were the angry one today. They weren't sure how to deal with Felipe with fire. They're like, nope, he's being mean. Melissa can handle him.
Oh, well, I am so glad that you all came. I appreciate everyone's questions, support.
I appreciate Kenny's comment.
Kenny will not win this battle. Keeps. Yes, I know. You always think Houston wins, but I will say to all the wonderful Canadians out there, and I mean this with all sincerity, Great game with the women's hockey in the Olympics. I know the U.S. won, and since Gregory already mentioned it here, I'm not doing any, laying out any.
I know somebody left from watching because they were upset about the spoiler because they literally had recorded.
Well, Gregory put the
thing, and
spoiler. Gregory put the spoiler in the comments, so it's already there. But my point is that yes, the U.S. beat Canada in the men's hockey as well as the women's hockey. What I wanted to say was, it just continues to fill my cup when I see the Canadian culture just be so positive, so gracious. They're not sore losers, they're gracious winners. They stayed until the end. They were there supporting. Yeah, they were sad, but it just tells you about the character of people that are from that country. And I just wanted to share that with people like Gregory and Sumana and anyone else from Canada, that you may have lost a hockey game, but you're beating us in culture. So congratulations on that. But thank you to everyone who joined us. Thank you to Coach Carey and John Warner and Christine. I know you came late, but I appreciate you being here. And Kenny, always the instigator of the show. We appreciate you. Sean Michael, appreciate you being on LinkedIn and YouTube. You're everywhere. And Meryl Cass and Kenny, thank you for being just the constant communicators of our show and helping us support it so that people are aware of it, because it really is something I think you're helping other people and you're helping us. And Sean, thank you for being here as well. And everyone else, I really appreciate all support. Feel free to let us know what topics you want us to cover in the future. As always, remember that we are open to any comments, any topics that you all want to tackle that you think are relevant and would resonate with you. So share them, and we'll be back here in 2 weeks for another amazing Careers, Chaos, and Coaching. Houston, what do you have coming up, and what are your last thoughts you want to share?
Well, this has been a great show. I love the energy. I love the conversation and the questions. Sumana came with some great questions, and I want to have homework for our listeners. Do that again next time, because really it just created a bunch of energy in my brain, and then, I'm dropping things, a bunch of energy in my brain, and then also a new topic, right? A new special event that we're going to do with her. The other thing I have coming up is I want to do Creating Your Next Childhood as my coffee chats this week. And so I'm going to get that promo up to date too, but just not waiting for permission to relive what was great about life. All those things we dream of and we reflect on and we wish for and hope for, and get sad when we see it for others and we're not doing. It could be the baseball game on the Little League field. You could go join a team right now. There are 80-year-old people out there on a sports ball league of some sort. And so just kind of tackling that topic this week, going to think through it. I am doing some network marketing for Slice. We're going to start doing LinkedIn local meetings, and we're doing a March event where I'm doing a meet and greet with leadership locally, pasta and beverages, and we're going to talk about LinkedIn and what it can do for a community like ours. And then just some other fun stuff I'm doing with them, but really just rocking it this week. Felipe, I got a ton going on.
Well, keep up that energy, Houston. I love that you got so much going on, and I hope that it keeps going for you. I got a crazy busy week this week. Obviously, this wonderful show here has been so valuable, and I, again, appreciate you all. And thank you, Christine, for commenting about the photo. What I have going on this week, like tomorrow I'm doing that training I mentioned. I also have a Future Ready Voices that is coming out this Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern. And it's where I interview C-suite, managing directors, managing partners of firms about the future of work, and talking about how are they preparing for the future of work. Because some people are just continuing to do what they've always done, and other people are being future focused and thinking about what does the future of work look like for companies, for the employees, and for leaders. And the last one, we talked a lot about employee culture and employee stats on turnover. This time we're talking about how are people saving, spending, and preparing for retirement with the future of work. And we're going to tie in a little bit of what we talked about at the Workplace Wellness Hour with portfolio careers. That's a common thing that people have nowadays. And how are you going to spend, save, and prepare for retirement when you're dealing with portfolio careers? So this is a very relevant topic for leadership, for employees, for individuals, entrepreneurs, everyone. And if it resonates with you, I hope you join us. It's going to be a big event with an amazing speaker. So I've known this man for 15 years. He's helped me with my retirement, my spending. He's taught me things that I wish I had known when I was 21. So I hope you all come to learn, share the event. It's posted already. And then on Monday, the following Monday, I'll be back with Swana Jetty and Ashley Flewellen for the Workplace Wellness Hour. So look forward to all that. And then in 2 weeks, I'll be back with this amazing co-host, Melissa Houston, for another engaging, chaotic, and fun careers, chaos, and coaching. So as always, don't forget to follow us on YouTube. We appreciate you all following us on YouTube. Houston,
thanks for coming, guys. I'm so excited about what's coming. It's busy season. I don't know if you guys feel it, but everything's starting to open up. I know there's some of you that are going to have that hot cocoa and book ready this weekend, but spring is upon us. It's coming. People want to get out. People want to network. And I'll be honest, guys, for the first time ever, I don't know if you feel it on your side of the country, Felipe, it feels like people want to network in person again. Yep. After COVID, it feels like people are like, let's go in the playground and hold hands and ring around the rosy for the first time ever. And so dive into that, guys. Go find something local to get into. Felipe and I are both doing that. We're here, but we're both building off the platform. Local in our communities, giving back there too. And so even just go donate an hour somewhere. You're never gonna, you never know who you're gonna meet. It could be the CEO of that business you've been applying for that you meet at the food bank when you volunteer. They maybe spend their Sundays there, and you might get a conversation going and they hire you because they love your give back, right? You just don't know. So go get active. Go do something new this week.
I'm telling you, the last 3 networking things I did last week, 2 of them I did not want to go to. They were really just kind of like a nice to do. The 2 that I didn't want to go to were the ones where I found 2 opportunities for me that I did not expect. So I totally echo what you said, Houston. Definitely go out and network in person. Network here virtually, but combine it with in person. All right, everyone. Well, thank you again for an amazing thing. And Charles joined us from Hong Kong. Thank you, Charles. Appreciate that. And I'm going to go watch a little bit of the Olympics, relax a little bit, and then get some stuff done because I'm excited about this. All right. As always, a quick reminder, whatever's going on in your life, whether it's at work or at home, remember to stay confident. Remember to stay curious about things. Be grateful for what you have. Be compassionate to yourself and others. And be tenacious as hell because you got this. All right. Have a great Sunday, everyone. Take care.
Take care.
In the morning light, I'm chasing dreams, navigating through the office streams. Deadlines looming, emails piling high, wondering if I'm reaching for the sky or just passing by. The world outside, it's a swirling storm, chaos in the streets, a daily norm. But inside my mind, I'm seeking peace, a way to balance, a moment to seize. Careers, chaos, and coaching too. Finding the path, what else can we do? Observing closely, learning as we go. Making decisions, let our wisdom show. Through the storms and the calm, we'll find our way. With every challenge, we'll learn to say, we've got the strength, we've got the grace to face the world and find our place. Upon meetings, voices in my head, strategies and plans, where do they lead instead? I take a breath, step back to see the bigger picture, what's meant to be. Coaching sessions, a guiding light, helping me focus, setting things right. With every word, a new perspective gained. In the game of life, it's not about the pain. Careers, chaos, and coaching too. Finding the path, what else can we do? Observing closely, learning as we go. Making decisions, let our wisdom show. Through the storms and the calm, we'll find our way. With every challenge, we'll learn to say, we've got the strength, we've got the grace to face the world and find our place. quiet moments, I find my voice. In the chaos, I make my choice to lead with kindness, to act with care, to be the change, to show I'm aware. Careers, chaos, and coaching too. Finding the path, what else can we do? Observing closely, learning as we go. Making decisions, let our wisdom show. Through the storms and the calm, we'll find our way. With every challenge, we'll learn to say, we've got the strength, we've got the grace to face the world and find our place.